Well, hello there. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much. Keep them coming, please. It's so encouraging. These videos are very difficult to make, believe it or not, as amateurish as my attempts may be. The point is, if you guys keep subscribing, I'm going to keep trying to give you content that you can use practically in your own magic. You know, I don't want to teach magic that's can only be done on camera. It's fine for the flashy stuff and it's fine to sort of do on social media, but when it comes to actual practical techniques, I want to be able to teach you that. Practical stuff that you could use. And this time, it's so good. It's so good. And believe it or not, no sleight of hand. It'll take you 20 minutes, but after that 20 minutes, you will be able to do something that will make people believe, almost believe, that you can do the supernatural. I say this every week, but this week really is a doozy. Now, the effect is that you basically read the spectator's mind, but you get it to appear that the spectator can read your mind as well. And I love that. Whenever you involve the spectators and get them to do something miraculous, it's always a wonderful moment. Wow! This is a small variation on an effect called Tap-a-Lack by Paul Cummins, a very brilliant magician and an amazing thinker when it comes to, you know, the practicality of card effects. And so this effect, it appears so impossible that I don't think magicians can really appreciate how impossible this looks until they try it in the real world for the lay audience. But funny enough, magicians will fall for it too. Believe me, the effect, it's an old Divernon principle mixed with an even older principle. But the effect is you give the spectator the cards, they shuffle them as much as they like. Fairly. They just shuffle it as much as they like. The cards never leave their hands the entire time. Think about that. The cards never leave the spectator's hands the entire time. And they shuffle the cards, you instruct them, you're going to turn your back as well. And then you turn your back and you tell them, look through the cards and find a card you like. Once you find a card you like, split the deck at that point and hold that card you like against your chest. Then put the rest of the cards on the table. Show everyone the card you have selected and then cut it into the middle of that pile you are holding. Then put the pile you are holding in the middle of the pile on the table. And then you turn around and you say, is there any way I could possibly know what card you chose? There's no way they're going to say yes. There's no way. There's no way. Do you think there's any way? If you do think that, then you know the principle. And, well, anyway, carry on watching. What I'm saying is the principle is so convincing. It is just so convincing. Anyway, so then you go through the cards and you say, I think you chose this card. And you put a card face down on the table in front of you. Cleanly, no switching, no sleight of hand. There's no sleight of hand in this. Then you tell the spectator you're going to do the same, and you do the same. You go through the pack, you find a card you like, you put the rest on the table, you take the card you like, cut it into the middle, put that stack in the middle of the stack on the table, and you give the pack to the spectator and you say, now look for the card that you think I chose, and put it face down in front of you. So then the spectator will go through the card, look for the card that she guesses you chose, and put it in front of her. The trick is done. Believe it or not. And you haven't engaged in any sleight of hand or anything like that. And the spectator started off with a shuffled pack in use. Brilliant, right? Then you make a big deal about, I think you chose that. You can use any sort of presentation you want, and then you say, you chose the 9 of diamonds. And then you turn over the card and everyone has a clap and say, well, wow, you're a magician. That's impressive. I don't know how you did that. But then the weird moment comes. I love the double impact. The weird moment comes when you say, and I chose the three of clubs. Did you get it? And then when the spectator turns over her card and it's the three of clubs, that moment of shock and awe that happens, the crowd goes insane. Guaranteed, when you're thinking about this, if you've never seen the effect or don't know any of the principles involved, you're going to wonder, how the hell did that work? Well, lucky for you, and you guys that were nice enough to subscribe, you get a free tutorial now on one of the most powerful card effects that you could possibly do. So without any further ado, let's get to the tutorial, and I will show you how this devilish thing works. Sorry, my bad. Okay, folks, the principle uses marked cards. Now, before all of you purists out there, I don't know what the hell a purist is anyway. Well, marked cards. I don't know, if you're doing mentalism, I don't know why you wouldn't always use marked cards, but that's for another discussion. All I'm saying is, in this particular instance, it uses marked cards in such a way that you'd never guess marked cards were used in this particular trick. So I love it for that reason. However, marked cards are useful. You can get out of jail free many, many times if you're in a performing situation and you're using marked cards and, I don't know, you lose a control or things happen, a spectator gets full of nonsense and wants to shuffle the pack after some major moment has happened and you have to rescue it. Marked cards are pretty useful, you know what I mean? So if you don't want to use marked cards, by all means don't, but please believe me when I tell you, just try this effect, and then you probably only ever use, if you don't like marked cards in general, which I love, you might only use marked cards for this effect, which is fun. I mean, this effect is that stunning. Anyway, I'm going to teach you the method I use for marking rider back cards. There's league back cards in this country as well, but I'm going to teach you rider back because they're the most common form of playing card there is. What you need to do is get yourself a fine liner, what we call it in this country, or a Sharpie, or a very fine tip sort of permanent marker. Okay, indelible marker for the card, and just get a blue for the blue and a red for the red. You don't have to match the tone exactly. It's ridiculous, right? Now, this is the 9 of diamonds. This circle over here, you're going to imagine is a clock face. Starting at the ace is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen at midnight. And then you're going to mark that dot in for a king. I've got a king here somewhere, and I'll show you that at the end. Somewhere, yeah, whatever. I'll show you that at the end, okay? But just imagine that this is a clock face. Now, you know it's a 9 of diamonds, right? So if it's a clock face, you make a very, very faint little dot at the 9. And you make another very, very faint little dot at the other 9. You do it on both, so obviously you can read it in any orientation. Okay, and then now you will know it's a 9 just by seeing that dot there and seeing the dot there. And nobody, you might get paranoid and say, oh, they're going to notice. No, they won't. They won't notice, I promise you. And I will actually show you at the end of the video. You know what? I'm going to prove it. At the end of the video, I've got the most critical children on earth. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you, no jokes, because every time I make a gimmick card and I give it to them, and I say, how does this look? Oh, now I can see the line there. Oh, I can see now I see it's folded. Oh, I can see that's not really on there. They so fussy. I'm going to hand them this and say, what do you think about this? And nothing. Don't be paranoid. It's that thumb tip guilt all over again. So now you know it's a 9, right? 9. If it was a 10, the mark would be there. Okay, let's just put it there for demonstration sakes. If it was a 10, the mark would be there. But it's not a 10, it's a 9. So when you're marking your deck, please take your time, go slowly, double check. There's nothing more pack ruining than marking a card incorrectly, because when you come to something like this, if you mark a card incorrectly and then just try and put another dot there and you look at those marks, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna have to do some cold reading, some pumping, as the mentalists call it. But anyway, so rather not. Just take your time, try and make it as small as possible, but not really. You don't have to be like, so some people use a blue pen. It's ridiculous. Just do these tiny dots here. You can read this from very far away, okay? Now comes the suit. How do we do the suit? We look at this leaf over here. I apologize for my fingernails. Look at that leaf over there. And what you do is those little 4 dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, can be clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. Now this is a diamond, so we mark the last dot. We sort of color it in like that. And then we turn it around so we can get it on both sides. So just to make it so that the orientation is always the same. Some magicians only mark the one side, but then I get confused because I read the leaf on the left. I don't read the leaf on the right. So it just makes it easier for me to read it quickly. That's why I mark both of them. Okay, so now you can see that's marked in there. It's been colored in. Okay, so now we can say it's a 9 and it's a diamond. 9 of diamonds. That's how you mark all of them. I was talking about the king. Let me show you the king. Okay, let's see. Okay, wait, let's do an experiment. Let's see if we can read this card, folks. What card is that? Remember chased, clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds? Well, then we can start there or we can start there. I like to start here. That is 3 o'clock. It's a 3. That is hearts, clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. So it's clubs, hearts, 3 of hearts. Bye-bye. No, it's not. Ha! That's one I marked wrong. See? I told you, don't mark it wrong. 3 of hearts. That would have been embarrassing. Fuck! Well, there's a good example of what happens when you rush. Okay, now we're going to go. Pretend that didn't happen. Now, let's read this card. That's a 3 o'clock. That's clubs, hearts. This is the actual 3 of hearts. See? 3 hearts. Club, hearts, spades, diamonds. That's the actual 3 of hearts. Okay, folks. Okay, so this is the king. This is what I was telling you, because you might wonder what happens when you get, because obviously it's 10 and then it's jack is 11. Queen is 12. Queen is 12 o'clock, jack is 11. Easy to remember. When it gets to the king, I just color in that little dot that's in the middle. Let me find a card that doesn't have it. There, so you can compare the two. So, see? That's open, that's closed. Nobody will know. Magicians think, shut up. Okay? What I'm saying is no one's going to notice, and you can pick the kings out from a crowd, even from that far away. You could probably read, like, mark cards from my system, you could probably read it from across a table. That's what makes it convenient, okay? But let's get into how the actual trick works where they bury the card. Okay, so, sorry for me shuffling around. Excuse the pun. Anyway, I would have put in every day I'm shuffling, but I'm scared I'm going to get banned from YouTube for copyright infringement. But anyway, so now what you do, it's a key card location. You just got to know the top card. It's as simple as that. So you tell them to shuffle, shuffly, and put the cards down. When they put the cards down, you talk a little, you look at what the top card is. I'm not going to go through the marking system, but when you read the mark, you see it's the 8 of clubs, right? Simple as that. Then you turn your back and you tell them to follow your instructions, spread through the cards like this. Stop when they get to a card they like. Cut it and put it to their chest. Okay, now you know at the top of that pile, their card will be on the bottom, and at the top of the pile will be the key card. All right, then you tell them to cut the cards, which puts the key card in front of the card that they selected. There's the key card there. And then if they put it in the middle of this stack as well, it's easy to find because it's got a key card, right? You just go for the key card, go through there, find the key card, and you put down their card. And then when you go through this rigmarole as well, you just go through the same steps just for continuity. It doesn't matter what card it is. You cut it and put it in the middle of that pile. Okay, and then it doesn't matter what card it is. When you tell them to choose a card, they literally choose any card they want and put it in front of them. But because you can read the marks from across the table, you know it's the 2 of clubs, and then you can make a miracle out of this, okay? If you want to see it performed in the real world, look up Tap-a-Lack by Paul Cummins. It's slightly different to this one, but not much. but if you want to watch it, you'll get a sense of how powerful it actually can be. A few things though, you might want to demonstrate what to do first. So you say to them, okay, now that you've shuffled, I want to do, but then I think it weakens it if you show them like, okay, I want you to do this and then put the rest down and then cut it like this and then put the rest in there and then get them to do it. I think it weakens it. So you might want to do it before the shuffle. You say, after you shuffle, I want you to do this and demonstrate it to them, because some people might not follow the instructions so clearly. And I think that the only way that can be put across is by watching a live performance. So go and watch Paul Cummins do Tapalak live, and then get yourself an indelible marker and sit down with a pack of cards, and I promise you, you will have so much fun with this routine and people will think you're amazing. And the best part is, you don't have to break your knuckles. Please please subscribe. Please let me carry on putting out valuable, useful content. Thanks for everything.